I probably should have just kept quiet about how fabulous my sales were in June. In fact, in one of those days, I did $1,100 in a single day in sales, and I don't think I've done $1,100 in all of July so far. So I'm really feeling the pinch. It's what I get for saying there's no such thing as a summer slowdown, blah, blah, blah. Some of you are like, ah, ha, ha, you reap what you sow. To which I would say, leave me alone. I need this money. Anyway, I'm going to go to the store and try to maybe outspend my problem. I don't know. I tend to get conservative when these types of things happen. So my sales are slow, and if your sales are slow too, I'm sorry. Let's go shop. Sales are crappy, what can I tell you? This time last year, July, I was doing just fine. I mean, who knows what the story is. Contacted eBay. They think my account looks fine, nothing wrong on the back end. So I'm going to head to the part of this store that I like the most. It's got the lotions and some perfumes and colognes. I don't really see anything that catches my eye here. They did a lot of purging recently, and so if you're looking on this shelf, usually it's just stacked and very cluttered, and store benefits from getting lots of donations, but I don't see anything here that really is worth picking up. And again, I tend to be hesitant when my sales are slow like this, so they insist that everything looks fine on the back end, and I'm back to promoting listings at 2% again, so I mean, maybe it's just something that I have to wait out. I'm going to take as the first thing that I grabbed today, these Wilfred pants. Now listen, ladies, I'm not an authority on women's pants, so you're gonna have to help me figure out where these come from, where this brand come from. Aritzia, I think, it was like Aritzia Wilfred. Where are these sold? It's a wide leg style. I think this is kind of like a trend, if you will. I think they were a size 4. I forget what material they were, but there's no snags. They look like they're in excellent condition. I think size 4 wide leg pants. I'm gonna grab these as they're only gonna be $4.99, and it looks like I might be able to get, I don't know, $40 or $50 for them without knowing anything else. They had a style number on the inside of the tag, but when I searched it, nothing was coming up, so I was kind of struggling with what exact name that pant is, what style name that is, but I'm grabbing them. That's the first thing I'm going to pick up. I don't see anything in the plush that looks like it needs to be checked. The Minnie Mouse, Mickey Mouse, none of that stuff has any value. I said this in my last video, I'm doing really well with purses lately, so I'm going to grab this Coach purse. And you should make it a habit, even if you're uncomfortable selling bags, to grab every single Coach bag. This style on this one is F488, I think either 37 or 27. There's one listed on Poshmark for over $200, and it says it's in excellent condition. It's in anything but it's the exact same one as this one, and I think mine is in better condition. The handles are really jacked up on the one on Poshmark. I don't see any solds for these in the last 90 days, but I think the condition is excellent. Vintage Coach right now, for those of you that don't know, is super hot, selling extremely fast. Now, there's tons of different styles of Coach bags, so just make it a habit to grab every one that you see. That's what I do since I don't know any better, and you're going to find some home runs in the mix. Even ones that have, I would say, moderate to heavy wear, they're still selling for good money. So with respect to that bag, let's just say $50 since I don't know any better. I don't know what I'm going to end up pricing that at. It was like a little bit of a maroon color, pebbled leather, in great shape, but that's the only thing that I could find here. And this video was produced the day after the 4th of July, so the store that I'm in was probably gutted, and there just wasn't much to find. So we're still in golf season in the beginning of July, so I'm going to take these FootJoy. They're brand new with tags, right? Pair of pants. They look like they are in brand new condition. Still have the tag. They're 2XL still with the tags, and I think the style was 24052. FootJoy is a brand that I wasn't picking up a lot of last season, and I've changed that. I've started to look, especially with their shorts, a lot more with their shorts. I think I may have sold a pair of golf cleats that were FootJoy brand so far this season, but I'm having success in golf, and I think July is a month where velocity will stay the same. It's not going to drop. And golf is an evergreen niche, right? It sells 12 months out of the year. So that's a good pickup. But if you look at the rest of the stuff on the rack, it's just very basic stuff. And I feel like that's kind of the theme that was going on today. This is a bolo, and I'm very surprised by it. 1901 Horsebit loafers. They have this pair. There's a little bit, I don't know what's going on with the leather on the top, but there's a scratch there that I couldn't get past. If these were in better condition, they'd be a pickup and they'd sell for around $40, but with that damage right there, I have to leave them go. Keep that on your bolo list though, because those will sell between $30 and $50. I was surprised by that. This is L'Artiste Spring Step. I'm not sure what you call these shoes, like floral multicolor, a little bow on the front. Great style, Dezi, D-E-Z-I, and these sell pretty frequently. Now, the multicolor white style that I have is probably going to be around $35. It's going to sell for $35 to $40. These are in really nice condition, size 37, so maybe I'll get a little bit more money. But that specific style, not just in the multicolor, there's lots of variations of it, sells excellent. So keep that one on your list too. We have a size 4.5 pair of Adidas here. This is just a little bit too small for me to pick up, so I'm almost hesitating when I say leaving those 1901s behind, but I'm telling you, the damage, the way that felt, I felt like that wasn't just a smudge on the front of that shoe, so I'm just going to trust my instincts. So we're going to leave those ones behind, but we're going to keep the spring steps because I think those will sell really quickly here, and I'm looking for anything that I can sell quickly in July because sales just so terrible, my goodness. But this next find is going to save the day. So let me know in the comments, have you sourced or found Roback yet in a thrift store? Let me know in the comments if you have. I've only found it a few times, but I'm going to tell you, if you're one of those who has not, don't worry about it. This brand is extremely difficult to find. In fact, when I was searching for XL t-shirts to find comps on, I could only find, I think, less than 10. So because I have an XL in that short sleeve, and it's some of their t-shirts, they have the logo over the left chest. Some of them are towards the bottom of the shirt. Mine is the one that has the one towards the bottom. I'm passing on these Lulus, by the way, because they've got issues with them. I have too much of this stuff, so I'm going to leave that behind. But the Roback XL t-shirt, I think I'm going to be able to get in between $40 and $50 for. Some of the comps you saw were in like the maybe $35 range, but that brand is very hard to find. So do not get discouraged if you haven't found it yet. There are only under 800 active listings for it anyway, with over 3,500 sold. So the demand is just huge for that brand right now. So let me know in the comments if you have found it yet or if you have not found it yet. So I think that's going to be it for this trip. I'm going to head home in a second. We're going to take a look at a few things at home. But with the exception of Roback, I mean, it's an average trip, and that's just sort of how it goes sometimes. All right, I am back home, but I stopped at another store and I was able to find two more items that I want to show you really quickly. So I'm going to flip my camera around right now and show you what those are. The first item is this Fender Stratocaster. Now you've seen me source these before. Rock Band, I think this is Xbox 360. Now I had to open it up because this compartment was sort of jacked up, but I've cleaned it out as much as I can. I've tested it, it works fine. It doesn't have a strap. I might have a strap with it, but the reason I'm showing you this is I was just in one of my last videos talking about the Xbox 360 and the fact that they're closing down the digital store. The guitars and the drums, I have a drum set that I had to test. This without the strap, in working condition, is gonna sell for probably in between $50 to $70. So these are in even higher demand than they were last year. The prices are going up on that. Just something to keep in mind. Clean that out, made sure that it was working because it was pretty caked up when I bought it. It cost me $7, it'll sell for $50. And then Ralph Lauren polo hat. The ones that do, I guess, the best for me, or they sell the quickest, are the ones that have the leather strap. Now, I don't know if this is vintage or not, but I always sell these, it seems like a little bit quicker than some of my other ones. Like I have a Polo Golf one that's orange listed right now, I think for 35. I might list this one for in between 25 and 30. I don't think the orange one sells before this one does because the strap is in really nice condition. So this might be vintage, I'm not really sure, but I grabbed that. This cost me $2.99. I'll sell it for 25 to 30, and then again, $7 on the guitar. And I expect to get 50 for that. Let's go to my computer really quick. I want to show you a couple of Coach bags that have a little bit of a distressed look to it, some wear, and just show you as an example how well those vintage Coach bags or that market is selling. All right, first piece I want to show you is this leather portfolio. I'm going to assume that the person that made this listing is correct in saying it's from the 80s, so that makes it super old. But if you look at the condition of it, I'm going to take you through the pictures. Let me maximize this. This has considerable wear, and it's still sold for $110. I don't know if portfolios are just something that you automatically grab. But again, this is one of those things that prior to knowing how hot vintage Coach was, I may have passed this up because, I mean, we have a Coach outlet here, not that far from where I live. I mean, there's Coach everywhere, and it just seems like one of those things that turns up so frequently in store, but you really do have to pay attention now because things like this, I mean, $110, I might have missed this the first go around. 5823, but considerable amount of wear and still sold for, what was it, $110. Here's the next one here. This is a sort of like a bucket bag style. If you see what looks to be vintage Coach and it's a bucket style, you're gonna have to grab it because it seems like that style in the vintage is super popular right now. This one sold for $106, but there's plenty that sell for $200-$300. Very, very old. This is a Coach bucket bag, and the model number on this one was 9085. I'll show you some of the pictures of this. You can see wear everywhere, and even the bottom shows, like this bag, I wouldn't say it was beat up, but it's got a lot of good use out of it. Still sold for $106. So there's a couple there to show you. And now there is a specific style of Coach called the Willis. It's this bag right here. You can see that it's got this twist lock right here. I've picked the olive green color, but this style seems to be like one of the vintage winners. It's one that no matter what the color is, it's selling for tons of money. This one sold for $300, and I'll show you some of the other pictures of this as well. Even this one has some, like moderate wear to it, but it's still sold for $300, and it's olive green. That's not a color that you would necessarily assume would sell for so much, but the black color, the alternate colors in this Willis style, huge money in this vintage Coach. So if you weren't aware, put it on your radar. There's lots of money to be made out there, and if you don't assume that the thing is just junk like I did, you're gonna make some money. So keep your eye out for that vintage Coach. All right, that's all I've got for you today. Get into the stores and look for that vintage Coach, and then let me know in the comments if you have found Roback yet. That's all I have for you. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you in the next one.